Hey everybody, this is Space Marine Steve from Play on Tabletop, and I am so excited to be joined here in the studio by my good friend Tao Nick, and we are going to talk about what do you do going into your first game.
We're walking our two newbies through playing their first game of 40K. They've built their armies, they've learned about the lore, they've set up the board, and now they gotta get to playing. But before they do that, they need some tips on how we should play this first turn.
40K is a fantastic game, and it's a game where I always kind of feel like there's a low floor and a high ceiling. And we're gonna give you some really quick tips on things to remember and things to think about as you step into your very first game of Warhammer 40K. All right, so we are about to get a game going, but before any of that happens, we've got to build a table. And when I say build a table, I mean take some of the decorative terrain pieces and place them out on the table as a way to block line of sight so that some units can't see other units. You're able to hide, be tactical and stealthy. Whether you are playing on your kitchen table and all you have is, textbooks and Pringle cans, yes, I've done that, or you've got a beautiful terrain like this right here in front of us, there is always ways to make great dynamic tables. And the ways that you do that, one, always try and make it kind of fair, right? You don't want to load up, like if Rebecca put all the terrain over here and you had none, that's kind of unfair, right? So you want to try and make it a little bit even. But you also want to try and make it dynamic. So you should have maybe some line of sight blocking terrain in the middle to make sure that the person with all the guns can't just shoot the other person right off the table at the very beginning. Additionally, a lot of missions will have objectives. So I put the play on buttons here. This is what we're playing for. What you can't do is you can't cover up these buttons with terrain. So we do have enough line of sight blocking terrain. We have enough cover. The objectives are very clear. I think you're ready to play.
Oh.
All right. You two kids have fun.
Yeah, I've just for the first time met Rebecca, and we kind of have similar kind of levels of interest in Warhammer. We're both newbies, so it's awesome to meet someone in the same boat. I'm super excited to learn together and eventually play against each other.
One of my goals of learning 40K is to be able to beat Steve. Steve and I go way back. We've actually been friends since university, and I think being able to lord this over him, he's been playing it for so long, and if I just come in and beat him this one time, then I'll say, bet you regret introducing me to this world.
I'm super confident having Steve as my teacher because I suck at maths. But yeah, he's Space Marine Steve and we're fighting with Space Marines. I think we're good. He's bad luck. I can be a lucky dude. So maybe I'll be able to balance him out there.
Alrighty, so what we have to do first, we have to decide who's going to deploy first. Both of you need to pick up a dice, and both of you need to roll, and the person that rolls highest chooses whether or not they want to be attacker or defender. Is it the same number?
No, I think mine landed as a 1 and you knocked it into a 5.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think you're first.
Okay. I want to be the defender because I want to be able to choose my deployment zone.
Which deployment zone do you choose, Rebecca?
Do this one.
I want this one because I feel like he's going to have more trouble with his tank. So I'm going to choose this zone.
All right, so now we gotta decide reserves, right?
Yes.
You have 2 units that can possibly go off the table. We have to declare that now. You've got the Hive Tyrant with wings, can strike from above. And you've got the Ripper Swarms that can strike from below.
Yes. I definitely want to have my Rippers striking from below.
Good idea. However, the Hive Tyrant, it's a bit of a gamble. It's good to have him on the board first turn in case you want to charge something that's in range or something like that. But it also does make him shootable. He might get a chance, if he goes first, he might get a chance to kill him before you get a chance to use him. I'm gonna leave it up to you whether you want to try to bring him in later in the game or have him start on the table.
Okay. Just my Rippers are going to be in reserves. I'm going to deploy my Hive Tyrant.
So now we get to decide whether we want anything held in reserves or to put anything in our transport. I would recommend, we paid for the Impulsor, we have the Impulsor, let's use the Impulsor. jump out of it after
They're
it
still
moves.
off the board.
Off the board, but
and
they're
we can
actually
deploy them when we're ready.
exactly. They're actually inside that.
Okay, cool. All right, sounds good.
Could I hypothetically blow up the impulsor and everybody inside?
There is a hypothetical scenario where that takes place, although it is very, very unlikely. As the defender, what she gets to do now is deploy the very first unit. The ultimate game of cat and mouse. Something to consider. This unit of infiltrators has something called the infiltrate rule, and what happens is you're allowed to actually place them outside of your deployment zone. So they kind of scout forward and can start the game closer to her than the rest of your army. Bit of a double-edged sword though, she does have a lot of close combat units. My suggestion to you, let her come to you and take the time to let your shooting do its work.
That's interesting, Space Marine Steve. My gut was to already land on a token.
I see where you're going. I understand what you're saying out loud.
Yeah. And already we're on one. We've got an objective marker. We're out. Let's go.
Okay.
Before we go further in this episode, our sponsor for this series is Wayland Games. They have a host of great deals and discounts on tabletop gaming, including 20% off of Games Workshop, Infinity, and Malvo. When you are starting 40K, well, you're going to need your first hobby supplies, you're going to need your first miniatures, and they might be the perfect place for you to go to.
Huge selections, great deals.
They aren't just an online retailer, they also have a friendly local gaming center that holds regular events for Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood, Warhammer, Infinity, and much more. The Wayland Games hobby blog is full of the latest projects and competitions staff are taking part in. The staff's hobby and industry knowledge alongside their dedicated support team has helped Wayland achieve 30,000 plus reviews with a 4.9 stars on Trustpilot. A big thank you to Wayland Games for sponsoring this series, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do this series, so thank you to them, and make sure to check them out in the description below.
All right, so I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna let you trade back and forth.
I feel like you've been given very strict instructions, like don't eat the candy. And then they walk out the room and they kind of watch you to see if you eat the candy or not.
Well, they're waiting for us to make a mistake. So you go first, because you're deploying first.
That's all right, I'll make the first mistake. Okay, my strategy is to pick them all up at once. I will start somewhere in cover, but close to an objective as much as I can. I'm going to deploy my first unit of termagants.
And now let's find out why that's wrong.
You have deployed a great position. This is a smart position to run up and take this objective. However, you have made the minor mistake of putting the guys touching this cover. If you are behind this cover, all these windows can't shoot through them. If you are touching this cover, all these windows become real and you can shoot through them. If he puts a guy here, he can shoot you.
Oh.
If you simply move your guys back just a little bit, you're not touching this anymore, you're safe.
The infantry as long as they're touching it, then they get that benefit.
Not only are more survivable, but they can shoot through it.
I am going to strategically move my termagants
Smart.
slightly away.
Okay.
So that they are not touching it, therefore they cannot be shot at through this
window thing.
ruin.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the Phobos infiltrators. Okay. I'm going to do something
Put it down with
aggressive.
confidence and maybe he won't show up.
I'm going to start here. And from here make my decision, but if I need to, I'm within cover, but I'm also able to drop back, and I'm still near 2 objectives, possibly a 3rd if I have to be. That's my reasoning for it. This is a risky move that's probably going to mean that there's a cut here and then Steve appears, right? So tell me why it's wrong, Steve.
So this is so wrong on so many levels, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
No, I'm kidding. This is a very aggressive move, very Nick of you, but there's a lot of really great things that you did here. For example, something that's going on here is that you are nowhere near this terrain, which means that all of her guns on that side of the building aren't going to be able to shoot through, so you're nice and hidden. Also, you're just one quick move away from this objective over here, or an advance roll from that objective over there. While it is more aggressive than I would particularly enjoy, it is a good move. Okay, I dig it. It's all right, you're all right.
That's they don't call me Rahultrum.
That's why they call you
for nothing.
Rahultrum.
Exactly.
Rahultrum. We're just trying to get that right still.
Okay, this is where I'm going to put my second horde of termagants. They're going to be behind this, not touching, so that you can't see through it and shoot me.
Let's go for Sniper Boys. Now, so that's what I'm thinking, because also aesthetically it looks nice.
I like the levels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
doing a really
intimidating.
good job.
Wow. I like it.
Oh, really?
You got a clean line of sight to this objective, that objective, that objective, and that objective. They have like a type of cloaking technology, so they're gonna get a bonus to their cover save. Right now,
So this is that thing again where everything has a function, it's not just a,
it's a function, it's
design.
very deliberate, right?
Gotcha.
I like it.
Wow, okay.
Keep it up.
Cool.
Don't be worried about that. You can deal with that with him. So find a place to hide with him, but know that guy, that Hive Tyrant with its range, is not scared of that. It's not scared of that cover. That's your best weapon against those guys.
I feel like you've got more fun things to deploy around.
No, I've only got like 3, 2, 5. You have like 50,000 pieces to hide behind 2 pieces of cover.
I do have a
So
lot.
I don't envy.
I just feel like they're not all gonna fit. And I'm gonna deploy these guys sort of in behind this other unit.
I don't mind this deployment. It is very defensive.
But they can move through the building.
They can, but you're not going to be able to be anywhere close to shoot something for at least 2 turns, especially if you place him back there. So it is scary that he could shoot you, but you might have to eat some shots to get close enough.
Right.
Remember that you outnumber him. You have to be okay with losing some miniatures. So you might consider placing them right on the line here to get the most amount of movement forward as you can.
What do you think?
Well-
You're gonna ignore the advice?
Do it.
I don't know. I think he's my coach for a reason, right? He has my best interest. We're
Or
more aggressive.
His best interest is making the most exciting content, and that could be Tyranids being obliterated.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, he's not wrong.
All right, you guys.
It is cool. It does feel like on this side of the map there is just this swarm waiting in like an infestation. All right.
Listen to me.
So
That's one.
that is a line of sight, right?
As long as you can draw a line of sight from one part of your model to one
can
part
see
of
him.
theirs, you're good.
Okay, so just in case we can start off out of the gates with a bit of damage. Boom! Tell me what I've done wrong, Steve.
All right. So far, I actually like a lot of your deployment choices.
Okay.
It's a little aggressive for my liking, but this is a great move. I think this is a good move. You're going to have lots of range to get rid of those bugs, because they're very clearly, she's signaling what they're going to do, right? Those bugs can only go after one objective, that one, because going over there makes no sense, and it's too far away for them to get to here. We know where they're going to go, and now you've got an answer for it, right? Fuel up, my man.
Thanks, Thanks, coach.
No problem.
Ooh, what are these called?
These are my Tyranid warriors. Some of them have 4 swords, some of them have 2 swords and a gun. I'm gonna put them here first. This is gonna be their first deployment.
Okay, so I'm looking at Rebecca's side of the board and what she has left to put down, and it's this guy. It clearly can only really go there. So I would take their worst enemy, which is, if I take my heavy suppressors, I want to have a clear line of sight immediately on that zone. Now, does a crater provide any type of cover or benefit?
It does.
I'm going to begin with them in light cover, just here.
Steve gives the seal of approval.
Oh, sweet.
So can he can't see him behind this. Like, he's tall, but,
If this is sticking out here, if he can see this wing, he can shoot it.
well, if I'm gonna be seen, then I should be in a strategic area.
Interesting.
It looks cool.
That's where you want to put it? Are you sure?
No, I was just talking about how cool it would be.
It is cool. I agree. Do it. Go for it. Basically, what
He's
you're
got so many good
what you're
big
doing by
guns
doing
on
that
me, though.
is really counting on going first.
Yeah.
Because if he goes first, he's going to unload with everything he's got against that thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks cool, but I don't necessarily. I want to be there, but only if I'm going first.
So that thing moves 16 inches. So from the edge, you will have no problem charging almost anything on the board. Because if you were to deploy, say here, you could move 16 inches, and then you charge up to 12 inches. So you would even have a good chance of charging his tank or his men up top here, because you fly. So you can just fly over top of any of this terrain. I would consider this guy a damage dealer. Find a target, place him to get the least amount of shots coming in and where it can do the most damage. The problem with the wings, they're so big, I don't know if there's a place we can put it that everything can't see you. The one advantage of here, the tank may be able to see you, but those guys can't, as of right now.
No.
This is a defensive suggestion, an aggressive suggestion. Put him right in the line and go charge.
Okay. Yeah.
So Steve, with my lieutenant, I won't be able to deploy him next to the intercessors up here, the Phobos intercessors. I don't want him up here. For the snipers, tank useless. It's going to be for the suppressors. Are these good questions? If I commit him here,
Yeah.
it's kind of stuck here.
Yeah.
If it's committed here, if I need to, I can
move
still
around.
protect
Yeah.
and protect my Phobos interceptors.
Yeah.
Whew, that was quick.
Yeah, we were so decisive
We
in our
were.
movements.
Good job.
Now that the two of you have finished deployment, it is time for you to roll off to see who goes first. So both of you pick up one die, roll. Person who rolls the highest goes first.